according to senior business columnist Stephen Bartholomew's, less than 30% of payments in Australia were cash-based before coronavirus, compared to 70% more than a decade ago. But the pandemic may have hastened the move towards a cashless society for many people still holding to the traditional form of currency. We're being a bit upset by that. Joe Prince has this report.
Within a matter of days of COVID-19 cases being diagnosed in Australia, cash suddenly became unacceptable currency in many cafes, supermarkets, bottle shops and other retailers that remained open under the newly instituted socially isolating restrictions. So what has that meant for people who traditionally deal in physical dollars and cents? Trudy Ray, Chief Operating Officer for the homeless and low-income support provider Haven Home Safe, says cash isn't necessarily preferred by those with fewer financial resources.
So what we're actually finding is that our clients are incredibly tech savvy in the terms of, being able to access different technologies and therefore having a digital availability to be paying for things.
And that stereotype we do have of perhaps a person sleeping rough or a street beggar, would a lack of cash at the moment be a problem?
No, I don't think it is currently an issue. What we do know is that majority of the clients that we do see do have, bank cards, etc. So do access the banking system and money as the rest of us do through electronic funds transfer. The area that I'm most concerned of in terms of the taking away of the cash is the elderly people that would prefer having cash on them, and also those who are faced with family and domestic abuse. Obviously, cash ensures that there's no trail following them.
Trudy Ray says the problem is more about having access to the technology and internet coverage.
What we will be seeing is that a lot of people will be having issues with connectivity, with being able to access the internet and therefore being able to access their funds through those means. So that certainly is a concern. And with many of the local organisations that support people with Wi-Fi being closed at the moment, then obviously there will be an impact. So what we've been doing, and we're really cognizant of that being an issue. So we've been making sure that we are aware of where the Wi-Fi hotspots are around within municipalities across our geographies. And we've been able to send people through to those locations to ensure that they can still get access to their technology if they certainly do run out of data. Then we've also talked to Telstra about some other options that we can have for our clients, and that we do offer cards that have credit, etc. So there's ways of things that we can ensure that our client group in particular is always kept abreast of anything that's going on by supporting them through their technology needs.
That's a similar situation for people fleeing a violent home. Margaret Ogorinos, CEO of the Centre for Non-Violence, says financial abuse is one of the most common forms of domestic violence, and victims often have no money at all when they seek assistance.
Most of the women that we work with would approach us and say that they actually have very few resources and, or that he controls everything. Property and other assets might be in his name or controlled by him. They may not have access to credit cards or any other banking opportunities. So that is a fairly common story.
Crisis payments and financial support all come through electronic transactions. So setting up new accounts and financial planning is important, which is something DV support services are able to assist with.
At the moment, obviously, online shopping or contactless payment is the preferred method. But even if women don't have bank accounts, obviously, and cash is not sort of something that is widely accepted right at this minute. It is possible through the use of things like e-gift cards and those types of facilities to be able to support women.
And while cash transactions are often preferred by many older Australians, they too have become less reliant on it. Dr. Togia Aletti is from the School of Economics, Finance and Marketing at RMIT University.
What we have seen happening now over the last few weeks, where this COVID situation has come upon us, is that a lot of seniors are taking up social media in particular, and are to a much larger extent using applications such as Zoom or MS Teams, Skype, to keep in touch with friends and families. And those were particular platforms and applications that were previously perceived as a barrier, and where seniors would say, I'm not comfortable, I don't have the skills, I don't know how to do this. But now that it is a necessity in order to stay in touch, then we see that a lot of seniors have been able to overcome these barriers and go ahead and do it anyway. And we are now into, according to many of the seniors organizations, they are now talking about a second wave of seniors that are coming online and participating in a whole range of social online activities. This is also based on a lot of the quotes that we hear from seniors. They don't see the benefit, and they value face-to-face communication, value being there in person, and as such they don't see the benefit of adding more technology for the sake of it. But obviously a lot of those benefits and a lot of those needs have now coming to full force. So I would expect that many would also then go and say, well, if I have no choice, then I'll just going to have to upskill and be able to do it.
At the other end of the age scale, Professor Janet Green from online parenting organisation raisingchildren.net.au says with many shops preferring cashless transactions right now, parents could think about using tokens or notes with the value of their child's pocket money written on them, which could then be exchanged when they've reached a savings goal or would like to spend their money. It's a little trickier for the tooth fairy, with coins not being widely accepted at the moment, but Professor Green suggests providing a little gift instead of cash when a child loses a tooth.
Yes, if you don't have cash, why not a gift from the tooth fairy?